Fox News program, The Five.
Yeah.
This is the Yellow Five.
Oh my God.
Hey, everybody. It's David here. So we're trying some new stuff with the channel, and I'm going to have a playlist of all this stuff. But today, I'm going to try to host a podcast. Now, I know nothing about hosting a podcast, never done it before. So I invited some friends over to do this with me. And it just so happens that some of my friends have a podcast called Friends Next Door. Mia, if you guys remember Mia.
What am I looking at?
Mia is, if you remember, she's actually one of the earliest Asian YouTubers. And also who was with Mia at the time is Dan. And Dan is, should be very familiar with all the old timers on YouTube, right?
Dan
OG.
is OG, then the OG.
Dan is one of the OGs.
Than the OG.
What do you do now?
I have a day job. I work in real estate in New York, so really boring.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
hey, guys.
Welcome, Dan. And then to my, I guess this would be to my left, will be Quan and Thomas. Now, Quan is you joined Friends Next Door, right?
I did. Second season. People who listen to Friends Next Door know I have known Mia and Dan for a long time.
Okay.
Thomas not as long, but we all become good friends. It's been great.
And then finally we have Thomas, who is the husband of Felicia Lee from the Beauty Within YouTube channel, which actually I used to watch a lot too for my beauty skincare stuff.
Thomas also
can tell.
hosted Off the
It's
Great Wall
obvious,
for a little
David.
bit too, so he's no stranger to the YouTube
No,
realm.
Yes.
no.
Claim to fame, you remember your cameo in Off the Great Wall?
Alan, who's like Palpatine or something like that.
Okay.
And then he was like
Whoa. I
force lightning
vaguely
me
remember this.
for not getting the right grades or something like that.
Is this
Oh my! Oh
Whoa!
We are
Oh,
reacting to
time
old
capsule.
clips.
Oh my God!
All right, fast forward.
Oh,
Fast forward.
Yeah, Luke has daddy.
Oh my
God!
No! What? Wait, what? The reason I invite you guys here is because you guys are all Asian, clearly.
Are we?
Yeah. I don't know. I think you guys are.
Different shades of Asian.
You guys are all pretty connected with Chinese culture, right? Even though some of you were born in the United States, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'm the only one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Who was born in the
You-
States?
I thought you were.
Oh, you were also.
This is
think
so
both of
funny
you-
because
yeah, both of you
everyone
guys
always
are.
thinks that you weren't.
I apologize.
No,
Wait,
I know
Thomas,
that they both are.
Team US.
We're not.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, but we've all grown up with like a mix of American or Western culture with Chinese. So I thought you guys would have some stuff to say about China and things like that. So
For sure.
Let's first talk about coffee because I'll show you what I recently went through was an experience. My wife and I went to New York City and we bought some coffee from Lucken. So Lucken Coffee have you guys heard of this?
Oh, I've been there.
I have not really. I've only when you guys brought it up.
Okay.
That's literally it.
Chain. It's very popular in China. In 2020, they had this IPO on the U.S. stock market, but later they basically found out it was like a fraud case. They were trying to scam the investors, but they were trying to replace Starbucks. We went into the store, and then everything's automated. So there's no person serving. There's no cashier, and you order the coffee, nobody's making it, but they come out of a machine.
Do you grab the coffee yourself? Or
Yeah,
some-
so you have to scan a QR code and they grab it. And
that
I see.
pickup experience is
It's not
Chaotic.
quite.
similar to other coffee shops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
But
It
you
sounds
just
similar.
Yeah.
But there are people working there.
Yeah.
There are
the-
people.
So what are they
working it.
doing?
They're just moving
They're
the coffee
they're-
from the.
yeah.
So it's
it's
not
not
100% automated.
It's not 100%, but
If
the
you wanna
problem
go
is
that far.
they force you to use the app to order, which like
Right.
if
Yeah.
you use Starbucks, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They're capturing your info.
Yeah, that's
Signing
what I'm
in.
afraid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my wife gave away my phone number. So
But
it's like-
David, you're already a public figure, so it doesn't
But-
matter.
phone
They
But
know how
now
to
they
find
have
you.
his phone number.
no, but it's like, isn't that scary that they take your personal info? Like, I mean, every app does that now.
Well, it should. I think it should be a choice, right? Like when I go
Yes.
to Starbucks, they're like, "Do you want to sign up?" And I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
Like,
No,
just give me my
look-
coffee.
Look at this. They offer you a great discount if I can.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Here, let me-
bribe.
yeah, see,
They
okay.
offer your first coffee
Is
is
50% off.
$1.99,
yeah.
and that's a great price for New York,
yeah.
right?
And then, look, wait, hold up. 40% off your next drink.
Yeah. They
man.
give you a couple more coupons
Here's the
in
thing.
the app.
This works in New York because like iced coffee is now like $6. So if I'm like, man, I'm gonna get this for like half off, I might sign up. I wouldn't. I'm just saying somebody would. So it's pretty smart.
And if you get milk alternative, it's like $9.
Yeah. This is actually, I mean, look, they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
I
right?
think it'll stay because if you look at Temu and Shein, right? Like there's so much staying power because there's like They just have all these crazy discounts, and I think people don't care about their data and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like even like everything collects your data now, right? But anything that for me at least, anything that touches like Chinese companies, they have to funnel that information into the CCP, right? So I'm always careful.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people don't care, right? Because
They don't know. They don't know. Like, why would
I
they
think
be
even if
worried?
they
You
do
might
know,
be surprised though, because I went a couple of days ago just to check it out, right? And I also didn't like the fact that they forced me to order from the app and basically ask for my
Same.
number. And to your point, it has to be an option, in my opinion. So then, like, I was telling my coworker about it after, and then she goes, "Oh, like you're giving your phone number to China." So I feel like there are more people who are aware of it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
But there
Wow,
will be
that's
some people who, like,
Yeah.
okay, just
'Cause-
take my phone number. It's just a phone number.
Because like every company asks for it, right?
Yeah.
So like they are just like whatever.
yeah, because I know people like that. They're like, oh, Meta takes your stuff,
Yeah.
Google, Amazon.
So that I agree with that, but my thing with coffee, it's like if it tastes good, it shouldn't matter because like at the end of the day,
Why
like I
do
should be
you
the most.
need my
Okay, so
number?
yes, we haven't talked about the most important part. How did you like the coffee?
It's horrible because it tastes like I'm gonna be a bit racist here, but it tastes like Chinese people don't know what coffee tastes like. And then
What did you get?
I got iced coconut latte and iced velvet latte.
So,
like their
so
top
here,
seller.
What's
first of all,
velvet latte?
it also sounds like you got a drink that was super sugary.
No,
and
it's actually not that sweet. I
Oh,
got the
okay.
iced coconut
It was
latte.
so sweet.
Oh.
It's
what?
It was like a
Inconsistent
Wait.
it was like a
experiences.
Splenda, like a
Inconsistent.
sweetener
Yeah.
type of like weird sweetness that you get like
clearly
a sour,
both of your
And you
palates are.
mentioned
Yeah, it was horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what they
Inconsistent
gave you. I mean,
Yeah.
mine wasn't that
Can
sweet.
you adjust the sugar level?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Right? Can you?
Wait, let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. Were there more Asians?
Oh, it
in
was
this
all
store?
Chinese.
Okay.
It was like one or two white people.
Yeah, because I do. I mean, like I've been a part of like tea and coffee culture, like as a profession in the early 2000s. I ran a coffee shop where
Radiance.
Quan worked at as well.
Dan's lived multiple lives.
So you know, like
Dan's lived 4
like
lives.
yeah, like Westerners. I would say Western and palates. They don't like flavored coffee as much.
Yeah,
They
for sure,
want
for
like.
sure.
The pure coffee
Pure
taste,
bean.
but then like a lot of my not to stereotype, but a lot of my Asian friends love I'm just kidding. Like bubble tea
Hold on,
and
finish your
flavored.
sentence.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So I was curious, like, because I didn't check this place out yet. You guys went, and I was like, oh, it's on my list. But now I'm like, should I go? I don't know.
Because I had comments on my show. People from in China that tried it didn't even like it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So the whole thing with Lucken is that their former founders were prosecuted in China because they had done this. Essentially, it was a Ponzi scheme. They were trying to rack up money.
Interesting.
So but then they somehow through the pandemic and
Yeah.
they bounced back. They opened more stores. So they're a very successful chain in China.
Really?
They've been trying
Yeah.
again and again to open up in the
Wait,
U.S.
so can you describe to me? So they are found guilty, right? This is like news.
Yeah.
Confirmed news that this was
Public
a
news.
So
I'll
how
pull
are
up,
they still in business in New York
Yeah.
City? Because
That's a great question.
That's what I'm wondering.
because
Didn't they go IPO?
Yeah, so they IPO'd
Yeah.
here, and then all their revenue and stuff was fake.
Okay.
So I think they were charged like 180 million or something
Yeah.
like that.
here's the article that you were just referring to.
Okay.
Lucken
Cool.
Coffee
Oh
agrees
wow,
to
yeah,
pay
from the
180
SEC.
million penalty to settle accounting fraud charges by the U.S. SEC, this is a legitimate crime that they committed
of course,
on
it's
U.S.
real.
soil.
So it's real.
Speaking of that, so I have this question for you, Dan.
Okay.
So there was recently a piece of news about Chinese nationals being arrested in a smuggling. So they were smuggling people into the United States to work in Massachusetts, single-family homes in Massachusetts and Maine, I believe.
Yeah.
Growing marijuana, and that these people that came essentially undocumented got their passports seized.
Uh-huh.
But my question is, you know a lot about real estate.
I
How
also
come there's-
from
You were
Boston.
just talking
You're
about
also-
it.
yes,
five
you're also
minutes
from
ago.
So this story is crazy, but go ahead, ask your question.
How come
Yeah.
the county officials,
Yeah.
the people that do real estate, buying a home, and the banks, and even the realtor that does these
Yes.
tours for these homes,
Yeah.
never came, got suspicious of what they were doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, all these towns they're mentioning, like Weymouth, Braintree. I'm like, that's like right now. I grew up in.
Melrose.
I grew up in.
you actually know where these.
Yeah, because I grew up. So Weymouth, Melrose, Quincy, not Quincy.
Quincy.
It's pronounced with a Z because all the names in Massachusetts are messed up.
Okay.
Like I'm from Cambridge, Massachusetts. So these are just suburbs of Cambridge. It's like this would be like New York is Cambridge, but then like parts of Westchester, Jersey, like Long Island, Queens is like these other cities, right?
What's
Buying
the
up a
vibe
house,
like in those areas?
suburbs.
Okay.
Like literally like
So like safe.
Like your typical-
yeah, super safe.
Okay.
Yeah. Just super suburby, little suburb, like suburb of suburbs even. So your question is like, how come nobody said anything? Like, how come?
Or even because I assume.
Yeah.
You
I have an answer for you. I just want to make sure I'm understanding your question.
because you have to go
correctly.
through so many
Yeah.
processes, so many different government institutions.
So I was thinking about this in the shower this morning. Right? So there's two scenarios because there's a couple scenarios. So if their real estate agent was Asian or Chinese, or if it was a non-Chinese, right? So here's the thing: if it was Chinese, they definitely will approach the listing agent and be like, "Hey, I have well-qualified buyers. In fact, they're going to buy in cash." And when you say that,
They'll give it to you.
greed takes over. Is my
Yeah.
My short answer is, for the most part, the greed will take over. The banks, if they're buying in cash, there's no mortgage, so the banks cannot verify. Like, you're not getting a loan,
Right.
So you're just presenting cash.
I also don't think they check for like what are you going to use the house for, right? And I
Yeah.
don't think growing marijuana is that.
They
It's
still
not
list it
even
as their
like
first thing.
marijuana.
Yeah, it's not
I
even
don't think
like-
it's that hard.
Unless nobody would even like. I wouldn't even think they would do that at a house. I literally would be like, oh, here's a Chinese family buying a house. And a lot of Chinese families start moving out. There's a lot of Chinese families in Boston for the schools. So it's totally,
good
it would
schools.
totally be normal for them to buy a house in these areas.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, it's a little weird. Like, you're buying an all cash house out here. What you would do is you would look at like if the offer is exceeding the market value of the house, right? Because if they're like, I really want this house, I'm going to pay cash. I'm like, why would you want to do that? But even then, like, why would the agent care? Because they're just going to get paid, right? It's all motivated by commission. So if they had a Western agent, they probably I'm not saying they're always more ethical, but they would actually. There's a lot of consequences. They could lose their license, right? But they might just be like, don't ask, don't tell. In fact, in New York City, it's illegal to ask certain questions.
Yeah.
It's
Wait, how
illegal
would they
to-
lose their license?
if they found out maybe they took a bribe or they knew that there was crimes going on and they didn't say anything,
Okay.
like they could there
Okay.
could be potential consequences that deter you from participating in any kind of you could have been an accessory, you could have been
Yeah.
I mean,
Part of this thing, right?
yeah.
like without boring people, there's massive lawsuits in New York and New Jersey all the time for like pyramid schemes of duping investors, right?
But David, are you saying, is your question like, how did people not find out about this earlier? Or are you saying just specifically in the buying, selling process?
Like, how could this go through?
How could this
Yeah.
go through? Because it sounds like it could easily.
That's what he's asking. Yeah,
But it almost
easily
sounds
go
like
through.
it could easily go.
Well, because
Easily.
the thing is, I don't understand it because I never bought a house before.
Yeah.
But I understand you need to go through lawyer fees. You need to like.
Sure.
They have the money.
Yeah.
right? So if it's
but
all
like
about money,
but
then
none
it
of those
doesn't matter.
layers are like asking you
Exactly.
what you're gonna do with the house
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
because America's a very private. Like that's up to you.
Yeah.
It's almost like a violation of your rights to ask you what you're gonna do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what makes America beautiful. Is
I mean, yes, and it's your
no one should
property.
care. And in fact,
Yeah.
if somebody asked, I would literally be like,
shouldn't
none of your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would protect my client's interest, right? I didn't. Now, if they were selling marijuana, I'd be like, I don't want you as a client.
All cash deals are not out of the norm for
Very
like
normal.
Chinese families.
100%.
Extremely
100%.
normal. I would only do
Honestly,
a no
the
cash
agents
deal.
literally would have thought I hit the jackpot. Here, I have a client who's just buying all these houses cash and.
Let's get another one.
Let's
and
get another one.
one.
And they're like, I'm gonna find you more. Little did they know they were growing marijuana.
So this is a picture from Oklahoma. A little bit different from the Massachusetts case is that in Oklahoma they buy up larger amounts of plots of land.
Yeah.
That requires financing, and
Yes.
they go through a banker in Flushing.
Yes.
So they have an entire chain from the realtor to the buyer to the banker
Yes.
to get the loans.
Yes.
So literally what they would do is, and I learned this recently, they they grow the marijuana,
Mm-hmm.
it gets flooded into the market. It ruins the economy of the marijuana.
Because it
no.
cheapens
Okay,
the price.
Oversupply.
Yeah, so even when the illegal CCP infiltration, like, 'cause you know how they're banning the farmlands
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even that, like when you're doing the drug business,
Yeah.
that's also ruining the American drug
That's
economy.
Oh my
hilarious.
God.
Those are American
So
drugs.
are they? So let me ask you a question. This
No
is,
drugs made in
this
China.
is just their strategy to make
what are they
money.
trying to do?
Yeah, like what's the
Like,
point
what's
of
the
this?
point of this?
Let me give you a brief little rundown on the farmland situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Some of them,
yeah.
like you probably heard of this, some of them are buying it near like military bases.
Yes.
Putting up surveillance equipment.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
obviously bad.
Yes.
Some of them are doing the marijuana stuff. Others, it's like you don't know what they're doing because the most recent example is in Ukraine when they were fighting the Russians. They had this truck full of drones that got like shipped into Russia, and then they just like destroyed an entire Air Force base. So
Yeah.
the same analogy is what happens when they're making drones on these land in the middle of nowhere
Yeah.
in America, and then one of those drone trucks start to fly around and destroying all like infrastructure. and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So that's a possibility. Then there's also things like they steal anything like from corn technology to like grain technology to farm equipments and anything that they can get their hands on.
Yeah.
So it's like a very small thing. And they only own like what, less than 300,000 acres of land in America.
Right.
That's like less than 1%.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot.
Way
but,
less.
But then at the end of the day, I think it's scary for any country to open their border up to a foreign hostile force that wants to do something in case they go to war over Taiwan.
Well,
or something.
especially it's also an agricultural, right? Like America's got, they're fighting their own battles with like, genetically modified seeds
True.
and stuff like that. So it just opens the door for more info. Like to me, the biggest thing was, they're going to genetically engineer like a crop killing something and introduce it to the crop.
There was
to the
that
crops.
thing recently about the some students being arrested for
In Michigan.
Yeah.
Detroit, yeah,
Seeds.
exactly.
carrying samples.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought of.
Yeah.
No, but David, why are they getting into the? First of all, weed doesn't even make that much money compared
No,
to
but
like.
there, you see how many
you know?
stores there are now in the city?
True.
They need the supply too.
No, but the thing is, the stores are actually really hard to open because I've had clients that wanted to open stores and they have a lot of regulations. Like you have to be this much distance from another one, like the sanctioned ones, right?
There's a lot of non-sanctioned
Yeah.
ones, but the sanctioned
The
ones.
sanctioned ones
yeah.
are really tough. The non-sanctioned ones in New York don't even open when you get shut down.
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying
sure,
like
I swear there's one in every block in the city.
A lot of them are non-sanctioned.
Yeah.
But there's
For sure.
quite a few that are sanctioned.
like so I'm like, is this goal just to make money? Like what's going on?
Yeah, literally most of it is just
It's a
profit.
it's like
terrible.
a poor business
it's a
idea.
weed is legal.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was gonna say.
what-
Like,
why-
I don't understand. Why do you need to launder? What's the laundering?
Or,
Like, I
or
don't-
if
It's
no, they're
the
not.
cheap labor they
It's
get
not
from
money
the-
laundering because
Oh, okay.
it's money because you sell weed for money,
Right.
then you need to launder the money. So that's not money laundering. That's literally money generation.
Right.
So
They're
like, what do
actually
they need
growing.
the money for? Is the question.
Because you're not even like it's hard to sell. Like it's not even an easy thing. Like you're like, hey, want to buy this from me? It's really cheap, and they're like, yeah, but I could just go down to the store.
there's better.
Thomas has shown
Probably
me
better.
an article about what happens in like restaurants in New York City, right? Like somebody went undercover.
Oh yeah, yeah. I knew a girl like she went Amelia.
Uh-huh.
She went undercover at a
Oh.
restaurant, as in like she pretended to be like an undocumented Chinese
Worker.
national.
Yeah.
And then there's like a whole system where they like shipped her out to like I don't want to say middle of nowhere, but like somewhere in let's say Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And they shipped her to a restaurant, took her passport, and they had like a dorm situation like with multiple people in there, and then
Yeah.
all the workers were just like had to work at a restaurant for like work under the table essentially. And
That's
it's,
crazy.
it's just
Oh,
like
for
all
labor.
yeah, essentially. And like it's like a whole well-connected system that like we're not really privy to unless
Yeah.
we're in it, right? So it's like how do these people get there? Where do they find the jobs? Who was willing to take them? All of that, right?
Yeah.
Like, where can they stay?
I think I'm sure there's something deeper going on because just selling weed
Weed
is like in 2025, like it's not the most smart business decision.
My conspiracy on this is that I feel like I don't want to sound like because I have nothing to back this up.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's somehow connected to the fentanyl thing. 'Cause,
Maybe.
like, in China, the fentanyl precursors, like they make these stuff, they ship them to Mexico, right?
Yeah. And then it gets into the United States
in
through
the
the
United
borders. yeah.
States. So the marijuana could also be like a light version of that somehow.
Okay.
but I just don't understand how they would go from growing that. Like, are they shipping it only domestically, or are they shipping it to like Canada and Mexico as well? That doesn't make sense.
But does fentanyl, like one of the ingredients is?
Well, you could lace the marijuana with fentanyl. That's what.
Or this is like the first product, and then it just is like it sets up the pipeline or something. Maybe that's what you're
maybe.
like.
I just like
ideas.
a very
Brainstorm.
So that's I actually wanted to ask about you guys, because you hear all these very troublesome, very weird things about Chinese people. So as a Chinese descent yourself, does that make you feel like, you know, are you ashamed of it, or you feel some sort of a guilt, or do you feel like I'm not part of that? You know, that's kind of the mainland China stuff. Like, how does that make you guys feel?
Good question.
Great question.
It's a great question.
Big one.
Yeah.
I don't think
Who
I
wants
feel,
to start?
I don't think I feel guilty.
Yeah.
Not guilt, but and maybe not, and probably not shame, but it's more of like, if I'm traveling abroad, I know like there are like people will stereotype, right? Like Chinese tourists have a reputation.
Yeah.
Even let's say like Taiwan, Japan, Korea, like there's a reputation there. So that's probably the only thing. And the other things are just kind of like facepalmy kind of deal.
Like Taiwan, I noticed, because I have a mainland accent. Once they hear my accent, they're like, "Are you from China?" Then I have to be like, "No, I'm from the North America."
Sometimes if you're Chinese, they will think you have money. Right?
That's true.
Like that was a
Yes,
I
that
believe
is
that was a
the case.
reputation in Taiwan for a while until like soured. It's like if they think if you come off as Chinese, they think you have money. Like, and especially in like, let's say even in parts of Europe, right? Because they were driving up the luxury market with all the lines and everything. So it really depends.
Not guilty because I did something wrong, but if there's unfortunate things that are happening, so maybe like I just feel bad that these things are happening, I do think I attribute some shame to these types of actions, because it's like I'm thinking about it because I try to like distance. I'm like, this is not, it's kind of like you were saying, it's like, that's not like my behavior. That's like not me. But it's like, but at the same time, I'm not ashamed of being of Chinese descent. I'm very proud in the way that I was brought up to like cherish these traditional values and the food and the culture. And I think that like on the surface, I think I might like look or appear like less Asian or less Chinese, even especially like growing up in the Midwest, not like as into all of like the Asian trends and whatever, but I think speak the language more fluently than many other people, or I still like understand a lot of these like more traditional things that people have decided to throw, like I don't want to be a part of that as well. So it's an interesting mix of like, what does that even really mean, right? To be like Chinese and different in how you grew up and things like that. So I think there are certainly different, this is kind of like a joke, but it's like the West Coast Asian is very different from like the East Coast Asian, or even or like the Midwest Asian, right?
Yeah.
Like so I had a good friend, we grew up in the Midwest together, and we were like, yeah, the West Coast Asian, we're like, we do not know like how these people grew up. So it's also like very different in that way too. And so it is, I think it's at the, what one step further is like, I think it also causes some division within our own community. And I think that's the saddest part for me, because I feel like I can't like connect all the way on the other side of the table, even though we have a lot of things in common. And so, yeah.
I'm hesitant to say that. Like, I just find them, I was a mainland person, but like, I just find now the mainland people are just weird. Like I coined them as, because they grew up in a different environment. They have like the Communist Party culture, but
Kind of zooming out of this whole Chinese people behaving badly overseas kind of perspective, I did have some sense of shame growing up as Chinese in Indonesia. Because also I was a minority in that country, right? And at the time, I think I used to listen to a lot of like, I watched like Hong Kong movies, listen to some Chinese songs, blah, blah, blah. But when I was in elementary school, I went to a predominantly like native Indonesian school. And there were probably only 2 Chinese students there. And so I looked different from them. And so at one point, there's this little boy who's like, yo, you're like Chinese like in a derogatory way. So I think I kind of like internalized that, and I'm like, oh, like there's something wrong.
It's bad
with
to
me.
be Chinese. Or
Exactly,
something like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I did feel a sense of shame, but it's not because of this particular behavior. And like interestingly, as I grow up, I also kind of disassociate myself from my Chinese identity. I don't speak the language. I did have some Chinese culture, like values taught by my parents growing up, but I'm not the same with these. I remember when I was in Korea at one point, and we were actually shopping in the duty-free shop, and we were waiting in line to get we wanted to do something at the counter. And there's this whole group of Chinese women who are rushing to the counter.
I run away. I'm I'm not with these people.
Yeah, they're they don't care if you've been waiting in line. They just go up, and then I'm like, 你们没有礼貌. I was like, oh my god, this is so shameful. So I just really didn't really see myself as one of them.
Oh, I see.
Oh my god.
Even though I am. But now I'm okay, I'm beginning to appreciate traditional Chinese value more, because I think I've come to understand to separate.
They're not the same. They're
Yeah.
not. They don't mean it's culture is very different from certain values.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of queues and being rushed, I nearly lost my crap in Disneyland Tokyo.
Nearly, or you did lose it?
I think I nearly blew up. Okay. I was pretty close. No, so we were in Disneyland Tokyo early in the year, and there's they sell a lot of merch, right? Very well designed merch, and
They're very good merch.
yes, and one of the things is popcorn buckets, and there's different ones at different locations, and Felicia really likes Tangled, and so we went for the Tangled one, and then we were next in line, and then this Chinese family just cuts us and starts ordering, and it was a mom, grandma, and a child. Right?
How long had you guys been waiting? At that point?
About almost 10 minutes or so.
Oh, okay.
But it was just
It's rude.
I just started fuming, started about to burst. I was like, what the F is this? Literally, I think my expression could show it, because the little girl
You could see
saw me.
foams.
The little girl saw me. She's like, it's okay in Chinese. And then I finally blurted out how could you guys cut us
In
kind of thing.
Chinese?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was just I nearly.
What did they
burst.
say? What did they say?
No, they didn't even see us. They just cut straight.
But when you
over.
said
Yeah,
something,
they had
to
no
them,
They probably didn't,
No, they didn't.
hear you.
They didn't, they didn't care. They didn't care.
They were just
thing, yeah.
oblivious.
It's
yeah.
not part of their recognition that this is a problem.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the weird part, right? And then in my head, I was like, oh my god, if
But
the
the
little
little kid obviously knew.
if little girl
Well,
obviously knew
the
I was
little kid
mad.
knows that you're mad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if the little girl wasn't there, I would have gone into them. I'd be like, you guys, why are guys like this? You guys bring shame to our people.
Bring sheep to
you would have said that, you think?
And then I would have been like, local Japanese man decides to be racist to Chinese.
Loses his marbles at Disneyland.
But I mean,
Immediate-
in a sense, I understand, because they're also victims of the environment as well, right?
Right.
Victims of the Chinese Communist Party, of it's they have to.
vie and fight.
Yeah, they have to struggle in that society, right? Or it's
Check out my videos on this topic, China Insider.
whether it's lines, everything is scarce, so they're just always fighting for it. So in a sense, I understand, and in a sense, it's also too many, I don't want to say uneducated, but too many people got money too quickly. So and without being educated in manners and things like that, right? And then so now you have all these people going abroad, and it's well, what's happening here? So in a sense, I understand and I sympathize, but also it's I nearly blew up at a family.
Yeah. These are all great points. I think I grew up in a very interesting upbringing.
Where are you from in China? if you don't
So I'm
mind?
from Shanghai, so I was born there. And then I came to America in 1990, so I was 6. So my parents brought me up we've never talked, I feel they've never talked about holding on to your heritage, right? My dad's a Chinese professor at Fudan. So if anyone would talk about it, it would be him. And he never did. And my mom never did. But what they did was they always instilled in me just traditional values that can be applied whatever culture you're from. And a lot of them came from traditional Chinese culture, but a lot of them are also very traditionally American, right? And it's always funny because growing up, and my parents never did this, but other Chinese parents were like, oh, we don't want to assimilate too much to American culture because they only see the negative surface level things, right? So they'd be like, they're lazy. I'm like, they're lazy. They work like 7 days a week. What are you talking about? I work 7 days a week. They're like, oh, they don't care about school. I'm like, yeah, they do. They don't care about their elders. That could be a point of contention. It's not so much they don't care. It's Americans respect each other's privacy, right? So, and they don't expect the children to take care of them because they don't want to give them that burden. And they have generational wealth. So the parents don't need the kids to do it. It's an entirely different culture.
Clip that. That's actually a really good point.
And because I grew up in that culture, right? Because I had essentially an American family and a Chinese family, which was my family. But the American family were literally Americans, generationally wealthy, who were like patrons of my mom. Like she was an artist, so she didn't make money. But they're like, you're really good at art. I'm gonna give you some money. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then like my folks, family were really fortunate enough to like be independently wealthy. So like when we got to America, I had a vacation house. I didn't know, I just grew up like that. So I never saw myself as like Asian. I'm just in America with like these values. And then it wasn't until recent, like when I got older, actually starting YouTube with you guys, because it would be like, hey, Dad, check out this clip of people squatting. I'm like, oh, dang, they do that? Because I don't travel outside of America, right? Like, I'm like, oh. And then so I'm like, yeah. And I, like what Thomas was saying, I understand why, like culturally, because of the Cultural Revolution, the CCP, like the actual values and ethics and morals have deteriorated. So I don't blame people. Like anytime, like this, I just like facepalm, like Tom was saying, I'm like, what are you guys doing? But it doesn't, I'm not like, oh, shame on Chinese people, because any culture has their, like, even white, black, Hispanic, whether you're an immigrant or not, like every layer of American society, there's people committing crimes, right? Doing something stupid or thinking they can get away with it. Even at the highest level, like white collar crimes.
Yeah.
Like Madoff, like you're already rich. Why are you duping more people? Like, so to me, it's just a very individualistic thing. So I try to, actually what I love is when people ask me, yo, why are Chinese people like this? Well, I love that question, because I'm like, it's not all Chinese people. Yeah. Yes, there's a lot of mainland culture, and I try to tell them why, as I understand why. So yeah, I'm not ashamed, but
the follow-up I was going to ask is, have you guys experienced racism in America?
No.
Like,
so the thing is, like, I love this topic because, like, depending, like, I have a lot of Asian friends, they could be born in America, like you, or born in China, and depending on your upbringing, you have entirely different, right? Like you and, like, I went to Chinese school. I was the only kid in my class up until college. I was Chinese. People would, at first, like, when I first got to America, they would definitely be like, oh, you're the only Chinese boy here. I've gotten bullied. But like, it just, because my parents didn't make a big deal out of it. I didn't make a big deal out of it.
Not a big deal.
It wasn't like, they're attacking me because I'm Chinese.
Exactly.
They're just evil kids.
Yeah, they're just evil. Yeah. So I actually like this, the through line that you said, I think runs through here, because there's a lot, if you take away a lot of these larger cultural influences, a lot of these traditional values or human values, however you want to like describe them, they run through universal, through every single like ethnic group or a lot of countries, This is broadly, right? So honestly, like, it was like, okay, these are good kids and these are good kids. And like there was a lot of there's a lot more that you have in common that that was how we were raised as well. But I think it depends completely on where you grew up, how you were raised. But
no, I don't want to not mention, in New York City, at least that's where we live here, there was a period where Asians were targeted and, and people were committing violent acts against them. So in that case, if you ask that person, is there racism? Yes. 100%. Does it exist? Yes. I'm just saying personally, from my point of view, I've never felt like racist animosity towards me. And if there was, which I wasn't privy to, it didn't affect me. but it does exist for sure.
Yes.
Because I'm not gonna people who actually experiencing it. I'm not gonna tell them they're not experiencing
Plus
it.
100
you
to
know?
what Dan said.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I
like
would say-
definitely the actual experience. I once sat in the subway, basically going
That's right.
home, and then this person across from me was just, of course, like in New York, something that we know is we don't make eye contact with anybody, right? So I was just minding my own business, but then I heard him saying something, some random words, and then he said like Chinese, or something like that, and I'm like, is he talking about me or like to me? But I just kind of like, I don't know, I try not to care about it too much, just like get the hell out of there, you know? But also part of people's experience is also about how you receive it, right? Actually, not in America, but I was traveling with my parents in Europe, and then I was sitting in this like coffee shop / like a lunch place. We were having brunch there, and we've experienced something that was like, did we just experience racism? Like, was she doing this because she was racist? But I don't know. It's a judgment. I don't know.
I had
you never know.
my wife and I and her parents were in Italy or in
And it was actually in Netherlands.
where she's no, or it might have been in France, but we were in this restaurant and it took them 5 ever to serve us. And like at that moment, like it felt
No,
like
that's
it was
because the
personal.
service is bad.
Yeah.
But you know, the one time I had racism, it was in Canada. It was by another Asian.
Yeah.
Dude, I was gonna say no. That's what I was gonna say. The most like that type of behavior that I have felt has been within like other Chinese people.
Yeah, ironically, when I was in high school, I probably got bullied by other Asians.
Yeah. And that still exists.
Yeah.
It's funny because in New York, you've got both ends, right? So, like, let's say you've got people making fun of new immigrants from Flushing because they're uncultured.
Yeah.
Then on the other side, I've got landlords being like, yo, can you give me an Asian person? Because they have great credit. It goes both ways. So if you want to dish it, you gotta understand that there are some positives that affords
There are
being Asian.
negative and positive stereotypes.
Like there's the positive stereotypes are like, oh, Asians they won't complain as much. Like seriously, landlords are like, dude, give me an Asian couple. I go, I can't just give you an Asian couple, okay? Like, first of all, it's illegal for me to target an ethnicity. But these are positive stereotypes because
There's a difference, I think, in the generation before us that kind of approached this and like our generation, because I think it's very interesting to see how they deal with it with how we deal with it. So I've just said, like, I've never just experienced that type of like, racism like before, but my dad, so I help him on the house with a bunch of stuff, and he is like master negotiator like of my life. Like he's the best negotiator that I'm like courtside seat from when I was a tiny tot until now. And so part of that is like you're just you're hard, right? You play hardball every throw that you throw. So we had a tree fall in our yard, a big one. So we were getting all these quotes from all these people. And so we got a quote from somebody, and the guy gave the quote. My dad was like, threw the hard ball back, right? He does not care about how people feel when he negotiates. So he like lowballed him.
Yeah.
And so the guy was not happy that he got lowballed. And so he said something along the lines of like, oh, you Chinese people like always like lowball, blah, blah, blah. My dad was just like, on to the next. Like, and in the moment, I felt like, oh, that's my dad. You're being like racist towards him. And my dad like, whoosh, like went way over his head. He didn't even care.
Yeah.
And so I do especially think like that generation, when I think about it, a lot of like our parents' generation came here for masters, for school. There was probably a lot, the language, they didn't know the language. There was probably like so much more that they had to deal with. But also I think at least how I've seen it too, the way that you can handle it, I thought that was like, wow. I went away with that experience, which is like, wow, it doesn't
Good
even
for your
bother
dad.
him.
Yeah.
It's good for him. It shouldn't bother me. That's how I was like, it affects your life zero.
You guys probably know these too. If you watch a lot of Hong Kong movies or even comedy, Jim O Yang is an American comedian.
Yeah.
He was born, I believe, in China, but he grew up in the United States. He is now he signed a deal with the Hong Kong Tourism Ministry basically to promote Hong Kong. And this is a video he had done with another Chinese American actor,
Wu,
Daniel
yeah,
Wu.
I remember him.
So
He's looking old
here, I'll
now.
just quickly play this. What you just mentioned about the older generation, I see this so much. They actually feel a sense of racism that led them to believe that I should be closer to China because China is now strong and powerful and they can back me up.
Yeah.
I will no longer, I feel represented. This is something that Chinese people, I think, didn't feel that way for a long time,
Yeah.
being represented
For sure.
internationally. But my thing with this is that we have, Chinese actors, American-born Chinese actors or comedians going to China to kind of toe the party line, to
Right.
speak, to try to beautify the regime. How do you guys feel about this? Because
I mean, do you think that's what they're? Well,
so
yeah.
Yeah,
Is that what you think they're doing here?
So this is the video, right?
Yeah.
This is Jimmy O Yang meeting the Hong Kong chief executive, Zhang
Yeah.
Li, who basically is, so he's been sanctioned by the U.S. for the, basically condemning his actions during the Hong Kong protests.
Right.
He was selected by Beijing because he used to be a police.
he's placed there by the CCP, right? Yeah.
So the fact that, you gain
That's
an
sad.
audience with him and you're wearing this like color that matches his tie, tells me a lot that his mission in Hong Kong is to basically tell the Hong Kong story well or tell the China story well. And I just don't know that if this is something that you guys feel Jimmy is motivated by this connection to China or the Chinese ancestry, or you think this is purely like a profit thing? Because, at the end of the day, he can come back home with an American passport and when things go south.
Right.
Not many Chinese
yeah.
people can do that.
That's
right?
an
I
unfortunate.
feel like it's all of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Because it's like, yes, he has he has a home in America, but also it's like because he's in the special praise of the CCP now, like they're highlighting him now, right? So now he gets extra privileges, right?
Yeah.
He's not just someone
Widening
with,
his audience.
Right,
Like
he's
he's
not just-
allowed to appeal to that a whole
he's
new
not
audience
just a rich
base.
person, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jackie Chan. He's like rich beyond anything, right? But he's still trying to get into the CCP, right? It's like because there's extra privileges that you get.
I also think that as Asian Americans, of course, they have a sense of like reconnecting with their roots. And I think this is probably one of the ways that he thinks, oh, he can do that. So I think it is all of the above.
So it seems like also, for me, that's upsetting. That's unfortunate to see. Because
You guys have seen his comedy specials and stuff like that.
not
I've seen clips.
recently.
I've
Not
actually
as
seen a lot of
He's
clips.
pretty
yeah.
funny.
He's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
my point is, in the U.S., he was probably he's not like a class A actor,
it's true.
right?
Yeah.
And they're probably treating him like,
He's successful enough, I
He's-
would say,
he's successful, though.
in America.
Yeah.
That he probably, money-wise, he probably doesn't need it, but the recognition,
the
yeah.
recognition,
privileges.
I mean,
the
I got my
recognition.
non-Chinese friends sending me clips all the time of Jimmy O Yang. He's like, yo, why can't you do that? And I'm like, I'm not funny. Like, I can't write.
You are funny.
Not
What?
like he writes good jokes. Like, I don't know how to write a joke. I'm like, this is pretty funny.
It's probably that after the validation that he may get in the U.S. is probably not what he can. He's probably getting more of it in this
Also-
stint.
Like when I see this, it's
Yeah.
so for me, like I never like to pretend like I'm the other person and I don't want to ever attack somebody's motives.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's like what Thomas said, it's like it's probably all of the above, right? When you're an entrepreneur for yourself, it's really difficult to know, even for myself, to know what I would do in a situation. Like if I was approached by a mega Chinese developer trying to break into America, I would like to say I wouldn't help if they represent CCP interests, but until I'm in that situation
You don't
and there's
know.
millions of dollars at stake for my own well-being, for my own family, I would like to say I wouldn't, but it's really hard to for me to put myself in his shoes because of the opportunity that he's afforded. And like what Mia and Quan was saying, I think I think he feels proud to be a successful Chinese person. I can say that in a arena stand-up comedy where there's been a very few famous Chinese people, right? Or even Asians.
So that's the issue, right? The argument that I constantly hear from this, justifying this type of action is that no matter how you do in America, because you're Asian, you won't be as successful as the white
I don't believe
or
that.
the Indians.
I never believe
We're
that.
talking about
Or
bamboo
the-
ceiling.
In fact,
Is that what it's
I
called?
don't believe in a
Bamboo
bamboo
ceiling?
ceiling because
I've heard that
there's
somewhere.
been incredibly famous.
What about Michelle Yeoh?
She's not
so many
Chinese,
people.
She's Singaporean.
But we're talking about
of
Asian.
like, but yeah,
Like
of like
Asian.
Asian descent though.
Okay, maybe
you're just talking about like
Are you talking about mainland
Chinese, like, I'm
Chinese?
talking
We
like
need-
Chinese, like
if there was
Hong Kong.
if there was a mainland Chinese person that grew up here, they can
Lucy
be as
Liu has been
successful
great.
as somebody that
Andrew
like-
Yang, I guess.
yeah, like I don't
Like, what is the benchmark of success?
yeah.
Exactly. Like,
I mean, I think there's tons of successful Chinese.
so here's the
mainland
thing.
Chinese people.
I hear that,
Yeah.
but like, it's hard for anybody to be a Brad Pitt. Not just
Yeah.
a Chinese person
No,
to be a
that's
Brad
the
Pitt.
thing. If they're
so
like,
it's like,
why isn't there a Brad Pitt of China? Because you're in America. Most
There's,
people
like,
are white. They
that-
want to see a white
most
person
people are
on
white,
screen.
but
There's
it's
nothing wrong
like-
with that.
Wait, that was Andy Lau.
But people would
Andy
say
Lau.
exactly.
Yeah.
So there's like more white people here, so it's harder for us. But
Sure.
it's like it's hard for white people too
Yes,
to
it
be
is.
Brad Pitt. If
yeah.
you're trying to be Brad Pitt, it's not hard because I'm not trying to there are different adversities that people face. One, it's not going to help you to be Brad Pitt to whine about it's hard to be Brad Pitt, but it's hard for anybody to be Brad Pitt.
100%.
At that point, it's like if you are destined in this life to be Brad Pitt, you will. If you're
But
not,
I mean, in
you're
this
not going to be.
situation, Jimmy is probably in Brad Pitt's shoes, like being
That's what I'm
meeting
saying.
with
That's
a
what I'm
government
saying.
official,
So
taking
he's
pictures.
chasing
Taking
that
pictures.
thing.
Oh,
so
sorry.
like,
It's I mean you see this a lot with like Asian celebrities in America that are presented with greater opportunities, especially like what you're saying now is like they now have a chance to represent more, right? And in a way, like there's two sides, right? In a way, like if somebody who's younger did not think they could be successful in the arts and see that, then they would be like, hey, I can be like him and not be discouraged. Because in the podcast that I was listening to that you sent me about the protester in Hong Kong, she's of Chinese descent, Hong Kongese, she wanted to be a singer. And the mom was like, no, that's not a good career move. And for a long time, like Asian children were discouraged from being like involved in drama and
The arts.
following the like real arts, right? Like they'll be like, yeah, you could play some piano, but like if you want to be Lang Lang, no way, you're not gonna be Lang Lang, right?
Go back to med school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Get your butt in engineering
Yeah.
school. So in a way, that's good if children need to see that.
like I don't think it's bad to go play in different pools as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as for example, there's plenty of like sports people that do this. They can't make it in the American leagues. They go to the Europe leagues. They go to
100%.
wherever.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying don't explore other pools.
Yeah.
I think it's important to consider when, as a professional, anyone, when you join something, what are the costs associated
That's
with
right.
that? And we've seen like time and time again with the CCP, like it's quite a large hand,
Yeah.
right? They have over you.
Because
And so
guaranteed,
that's
he's
the
not going to
cost,
be
right?
able to criticize
No.
the CCP.
So and then
that- yeah.
So my question to you guys is, Dan, you said it. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to be successful, you can, maybe that $1 million check is pretty appealing. What's stopping you guys from going to China and finding an even more successful career than in America? Like this article, citizens of more than 70 countries can now visit China visa-free. So you can go there. You can.
Is
can get-
America on the list?
Yeah.
Is it? Is it really?
Are
Is it
we?
not?
I don't
know.
think
Let's check
so.
on that.
Let's
Wait,
see.
because I read this article yesterday. Shall we
Oh
scroll?
yeah, there's a map.
it
There's
the-
a map.
Yeah.
So
we only get a 10-day.
10-day. I mean, you can go to China. You can see.
Well, but before I would need to go to the Chinese consulate to get a visa to visit the country I was born
And the
in.
10-day is a transit entry,
Yeah.
so you have to leave the
right.
country and then.
So-
Okay,
it
so like
can't
if
be
I
your
went to
final
China now,
destination.
I can just enter with my passport.
You
you can
can.
only stay for within 10 days.
Yes, yes. Only if you're like going to another country after that.
Felicia and I
Oh,
both got
wow.
an invitation to, because we're doing YouTube, to go
Yeah.
to China for a 10-day
Holy
Oh
cow.
my
Whoa, whoa, all
Are you
expenses
doing
paid.
it?
David,
All expenses paid
David,
for.
David? So this is actually a question,
for you.
Yeah.
What's stopping you?
My stance is very clear. All my
Yeah.
viewers know I would never go back to China. I'll get arrested. I'll get my organs
Yeah.
harvested.
Who
Same,
invited
same,
you?
Yeah, same.
Oh, it's
same.
just like a
Same.
summer whale
Yeah.
or winter whale or something. It's like
Like a tourism.
no, it's a talent agency.
Yeah.
So in China, they
Oh.
have all these like talent agencies that hire influencers, basically. So
Yeah.
The last time I was in
Wait,
Shanghai.
they've seen your channel, they've seen your videos, and
Yeah.
then they.
I think
They
no,
probably
because-
haven't. They probably do a sort, I'm telling you, by follower and by view count.
Yeah.
And they just hire the
Mass-
top.
No, probably
And
during the
email.
second round of like
Then they vet.
When I
due
vet
diligence.
it,
They're
I
like
got- yeah.
X.
Yeah.
No,
Shall
you
we
can't
just
have it
submit
here.
you for it
Yeah.
and see
No,
what
I-
happens?
I replied and I got nothing so far. So
Wait,
That's
what do you
where
mean
it
you
stops.
replied? What does that mean? You
what do you mean?
replied
I
and
gave
said,
them my contact information.
Wait, they already know through Lucken Coffee.
That's true. But sometimes you need to reach them in multiple ways. You know? So, no, but my point is like, what's stopping you guys from going to China and getting a better career? Like, as in, like, you know, if
You're talking about like us?
yeah, like, would you go to China?
Or people in general? Oh.
Oh, no, just no, the four.
Freedom.
Okay.
I mean,
That's pretty
I'm
important.
actually like, you know, my spouse can go back and she has the guanxi to have a really high paying job.
Yeah.
And every
You can do
year,
real estate in Beijing, you know.
Dude, she's
In
got
Shanghai.
family members that are like, I mean, that's why they went, because they theoretically did not achieve the dream of making it in America. And they went back and became wealthier than they could ever imagine. So my wife is much younger than I. So her parents are younger than my parents. So my parents, my family, they came here with nothing, self-made, became very successful. So then we wouldn't go back, right?
Yeah.
So now her generation can easily go back and have great jobs lined up where you pretty much have it easy, right? And the reason is freedom, straight up. Like, we are free to criticize the government, as everyone in America has a view, whether you're left, right, middle, up and down, sideways. You can put stuff out there and not be arrested. You can criticize the president, the vice president, or whatever you want to do. The mayor.
I can say that, you know, the Chinese government needs to improve. Like, for example, maybe they should be nicer, maybe they should be friendlier. And I can criticize the government in China.
Can you?
I mean, that sounds like a criticism to me, isn't it?
Until they deem you to have enough influence over people, and then it's shut down. You know.
Okay, you're saying if I secretly talk about it in my bedroom, they wouldn't arrest.
Oh no, I'm saying if you have a sphere of influence that they don't deem to be dangerous to their ideology as a communist government, then you could do whatever you want. In fact, the communist ideal is also to make friends of enemies. So sometimes, if they see like, hey, can we use you to make us look even a little better, we'll do that. But if you have actual real clout, like for 100 million, you know, hundreds of millions, then no, you can't. Like Brad Pitt is barred from China for a long time because he made a movie.
Christian Bale. Like
Christian
a lot of
Bale,
these
you know,
people.
so if you are like that
Level.
then you better be careful what you say, right? But if you're like me and you, or you're bigger than me, like in terms of your influence, then, but still not to the level that they would deem
of
dangerous. Yeah, come on in, check it out.
I still wouldn't go.
I think for me, there's two things, right? So I think one, there's not as many opportunities as people say there are in China. Like the locals are already struggling, right? Even
Yeah.
in like tier 1, tier 2 cities. And then the second part is like, I think for all the people who say China is great, I wouldn't disagree with them. It's like China is great if you're just trying to live a life, right? Like everything's convenient. If you have money, everything's great. If you have a good job, everything's great. But if you're suddenly on the wrong side of the government, which can happen at any time, it's somewhat random, like you're screwed, right?
You also don't know what got you into the
Exactly.
trouble.
That's the
Exactly,
thing.
yeah.
You don't know what'll get you there. You don't know when
Yeah.
you'll be there. Like suddenly you're screwed, right? So you're forever under like using George Orwell's wording, like you're forever under the boot of the government, right?
My grandma from my dad's side actually went through that in China because she was actually born in China. She came over to Indonesia because she didn't like it there. And I think also because her family was actually, they own land, so they were landlords. So they
Yeah.
were also persecuted by the government at the time. So we just have a bad taste in our mouth from that experience. However, I do want to recognize like there are so many beautiful places in China.
Yeah.
I've never been. I mean, my dad actually is one of many siblings, and he's one of the younger ones. So his older siblings actually still live in China, and I never met them in my life.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great point.
My grandfather is also from Fujian in China, and so he went to Taiwan, married my grandmother, like right before the Cultural Revolution, and so I still have that side of the family owned land and had I think they had maybe a steel company as well. Had a horrible experience. Like when my grandparents. During the Cultural Revolution, when my grandparents and my grandma and grandpa, they had their first son, right, my uncle, they wanted to notify the family that they had a son. They had to like send the letter of the picture like through the South up into my aunt, a family member answered the door, received the mail, and she was thrown into jail for a night for receiving like mail, like from outside of China at that time. So I don't know even how many family members I have, and I would love to go back and visit them. My mom did actually go back for a college trip. You know, like after college, everybody goes on a college trip. I have the same reason as David. I would be spiritually persecuted if I went back, like almost without a doubt. And so I hope that one day that will not be the case. And I think we're closer to that than ever. But just realistically right now, like you guys were saying that you have to have, you know, they'll only like persecute you if you have clout and you say something they don't say. The local everyday citizen is also like feeling this certainly every single day. I think a lot of people like are unaware that if you are just step one out of line, or if you believe in anything spiritually, that is just antithesis of what the Communist Party.
You know, even in Hong Kong now, in Hong Kong now, like my trip to Korea earlier in the year, we met a guy from Hong Kong, and then I got to learn a lot from him about the current situation. And basically, after the after the NSL passed, national safety law, like people are kind of closed off to each other now. So they don't know. They're afraid to talk to each other because they don't know who's going to rat out someone else.
That's right.
And it does happen.
When I was in Taiwan recently, I tried to interview a group of Hong Kong kids.
Yeah.
They knew that I wasn't
Chinese.
like Chinese in the sense that like this wasn't going to be on mainland Chinese platforms, but they were reluctant to tell me things initially. Then afterwards, they came to us. They said that they were trying to apply to college.
Right.
Anything they say could be used against them to end their social and
That's
career.
right. That's right.
Which is insane because Hong Kong is literally 5 years ago was like a whole different. It only took 5 years for them to feel that, which is pretty.
Yeah. So like going back to Jimmy O Yang, it's like for all these things, I just find it sad that, you know, as like if you grew up in Hong Kong, he knows what it's like, and now he has money, so he's in a different stratosphere, and now he just wants more of something else, right?
But he also has an out, right? He can exit
exactly.
that
That's what I
situation.
mean. Not everyone has that out there.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, it's like I just find it disappointing for all these celebrities that they, in my opinion, lack a moral backbone.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I understand money.
Or maybe they don't truly know the situation. I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. They might not know how bad it is because they live in America.
Yeah. I think maybe like half of them don't. Half of them do.
Yes, I'm sure.
So it's disappointing to see.
Yeah, I want to go back to the Jackie Chan example. Like he definitely knows what's going on. He's got enough money. He just wants even more
with
privilege.
the students at Tiananmen Square too.
He just wants more privileges.
So he's called himself. He's like in his videos. He's like I'm Korean or I'm Japanese or I'm Hong Konger or I'm mainland. Like he's done a chameleon worth of like.
He's trying to survive.
Yeah, but that's my thing, Dan. I don't agree with your point. Is that I know for an American, like white, black, whatever, Mexican, you don't know China, so you don't know that what's going on. You go there and you do your thing. But he's of Chinese descent.
Right.
He knows China. His families are Chinese. But so that's the thing I don't understand, which is after having those access to those information, is still choosing that choice.
Yeah.
More money.
It is an unfortunate choice, but it's probably like yes, he's also at a higher place. The higher you go.
He's like keeping for him. I think it's like keeping up with the Joneses. He's like used to a certain lifestyle. He's like, I can't live my lifestyle. And I can see on the other side, since he does know, he's scared. Like there is a part of you where it's like, if you don't have like a core, an anchor that is like, I'm going to stand here and I'm not going to move.
Totally agree. I totally agree.
He's like, move me. He's like, this soil feels a little like, I don't want to be here.
No,
he's scared. And frankly, it is scary. Like the government does not play. Like it doesn't play.
The CCP will look to see what you want and will try to satisfy you to pull you over, right? Let's say for Jimmy O Yang, right? You might have some money, but they can give him more to the next level.
Or maybe they could threaten you.
More recognition, more privileges. Here he's like a B tier, C tier actor. Over there, right now they're treating him like an A tier, right? And like, let's say even for for during COVID, there's a whole thing with Bill Gates, right? Like, why would Bill Gates submit to the CCP? They give him privileges to do what he wants, right? Like whatever projects he wants to do.
That's why I will say it is certainly more admirable, and like these people should be talked about more, where they stand in the face of like all this threat and pressure and like bully and still say no. Like a good example is on one of the favorite episodes that we've ever done is with Jason, who's the director for Eternal Spring. Da Xiong, the comic artist. Da Xiong is somebody who's like incredible. One, incredibly talented. He has the talent. So like he can't be beat already. So he's like, right, he's an intellectual in that space. And that I'm pretty sure he has family in China. And so like, I think almost immediately as soon as that film was put up for an Oscar, like all of his books were taken off of shelves. His, there's repercussions like for him, and he is obviously he's not in mainland China anymore, but like he still is like he tells his story. And is like, and what was incredibly cool, right, is like his story is different than other people that got persecuted in China too. So everybody's story is different because he also couldn't really understand what was really happening in China at the time. So like it's an incredible story.
So David, my dad actually caved and went back to China. So he was like the perfect example of, I would say, somebody who would not. He was staunch. He was persecuted at an early age for being an intellectual. He wrote stuff against the government, thrown in prison, all this. He was lucky enough, again, my folks were able to sponsor him out before Tiananmen Square because his friends died in that massacre, and he would have been there with my mom because they were both students. Then he taught in Hong Kong for 12 years, loved it, but then in his later retiree year, he got this incredible opportunity to go back to Shanghai, and he's like, you know what? Just gonna go live out the rest of my life in peace, and I don't fault him for it. And I can't go see him because spiritually I would be persecuted as well, and I literally cannot go. And I'm like, that's really sad because I would actually love to go to China. The last time I was there was 25 years ago, and I would love to see how it's changed and love to go all around, but I can't. And one day, hopefully that changes.
I think for like regular citizens, I think there's always these like complex stories. It's like slightly different than like the celebrity or the super rich people level, right? Like even for my family, like my dad and my grandpa, like they were both more pro CCP, I would say, even though they, let me tell you, like for my family, somewhere up in my family tree, I am related to Zhang Shiyi. He's the general and governor of Liaoning province before CCP took over. So my family had some money. So apparently, when CCP took over, they seized my family's mansion. Hilariously, my grandpa escaped on horseback and ditched my grandma. And so my grandma...
Did they remain married?
They did. My grandma pretended to be a servant, or a servant. So they hid her in the servants' quarter, and apparently our estate got robbed for like 3 days and 3 nights. It's like just the doors open, like had everything taken, and like even after that, even after all my family has gone through, for whatever reason, my grandpa and my dad are still like, CCP's all right. It's like, I don't really understand.
I don't know. More Lucken Coffee.
I think if there's anything from this discussion, I think everyone has a price, right?
Oh my goodness.
David, if that brand of coffee from this wants to do a sponsorship, would you say yes or no?
I have this ground rule, which is I don't accept Chinese sponsors and Chinese products.
Okay, great.
I've had them approach me, and actually they offer really good incentives.
Because a lot of online influencers make money by affiliate marketing. Be like, buy my DJI, buy my this.
What if they just give you the gear?
My mind is telling me no, but my body is telling me. It's great that I can get you guys to come and be illegally gathering with me today. But what should we call this?
Not in the U.S. Not here.
Five people thing.
Oh my God.
We're at the end.
I'm going to say it. You guys know the Fox News program, The Five?
Yeah.
This is the Yellow Five.
Oh my God.
So thank you guys for watching this. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Check out the Friends Next Door podcast. I'll put the link in the description. And check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.
Check out David's merch.
Check out my merch. which we'll talk about next in a separate video.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.